Let's talk about how to listen to an angelic message and a quick refresher on why that's different than other readings. When we're tapping into angelic frequency, we are tapping into fifth dimensional energy and higher. Your higher self resonates on a fifth dimensional level. So when you're listening, it does not matter that there's one video. Now, I can do videos where I'm splitting it out by sign. I have no problem doing that, or doing a pick a card, but it's not exactly like tarot. It's not exactly like straight oracle. It's definitely not astrology, although people who have an interest in astrology want to assign that to the angels. I don't fault them for that. If you can blend it, by all means, go ahead. What does blend nicely with angelic frequency would be numerology. So those are two there's still an angelic energy besides the numerology, you see what I'm saying? But the angels' numbers really correlate with numerology. So when we're talking about psychic readings and things like that, those are usually tapping into a fourth dimensional energy, which is a little bit closer to our third dimensional ego consciousness realm. That's why they're able to see where your energy is aligning. That's what a lot of people are reading. Okay, they're seeing where your energy is aligning. They reflect that back to you. They may call it a prediction. Now think about, the esoteric arts of like astrology. If there are a lot of blueprints kind of pointing in the same direction and it's showing you, hey, this is the energy we are contending with, the exact outcome and where that idea of a prediction comes from is it saying, all energy is pointing this way. Here's a likely thing that could occur. Again, but it's still just a prediction. You know what I'm saying? So when we are listening with our ego consciousness and we just want things easy, and I'm with you, okay? Don't we want things to be easy because it's too much out here, okay? So can't fault anybody for that. But when we are tired, we're frustrated. Maybe we've been going through so many hard lessons, one right after another, after another, after another. We do want some comfort. We want to just kind of be told, just tell me what the outcome is so I can get there, right? So when you're talking about angelic messaging, the thing that this does, it's a little less predictive. There's a little element of that. Like, hey, this is the road you're heading down. If you don't correct your course, there could be something that happens that you don't want to have happen. There's a gentler, more peaceful way for you to learn your lessons, right? So it's less that, and it's more having you experience the message, not just hear it, not just see it in the cards, but to feel it and sense it through your entire being. So angels do speak, it's common, through metaphor, or they'll give, again, signs, angel signs, right? Repeating numbers, white feathers, smelling the scent of rose, and there's nothing rose around you, right? It's usually Archangel Barachiel is coming close to you and helping you open the door. But if you're wanting the quick answer and you're not willing to work, you're not wanting to know where you are in your soul's contract, you're not interested in knowing maybe what other timeline frequencies are doing an energy overlay on your experience here, and you just want the quick answer, I don't know, there are some tarot readers out there that are pretty darn pretentious, and they're like, we tell it like it is around here. We're just going to give you need the answers. They are selling something, okay? They're selling something. I'm not saying that they're full-on charlatans. I'm saying that presentation makes it seem as if they have all the answers. At the end of the day, no one really does have the answer. No one really has the answer because energy is ever shifting and changing. You could make a choice that completely takes you away from what somebody said. Hey, this is where you're headed. Maybe that's what you wanted to do. Or maybe you thought that, I had a client one time, and I like using this example because it's do not as he does. There is a very arrogant client. I'm going to be very straight with you. Very arrogant client. I'm not sure what he was so arrogant about. Did I say that? Oh, I'm sorry. But he was very arrogant and came in, and he actually had some really nice cards coming up. So this showed me that intellectually he was manifesting all of these things. So I said, okay, so I see that you're putting brain power into bringing things to fruition, but just remember, if it's not, anchored in your heart. And I've heard a couple of people now say, and it's so brilliant to put it this way, this calm certainty. What a perfect way to put your manifestation, right? Like that's when you know you're clicked in, and it's going to come to you. Well, this person thought that because they had good cards, the universe owed them something. And they sat back and they did nothing. And I literally got an email from that person later on. Not a nice person. I said what I said. Not a nice person. Came back and really was nasty towards me and saying, you were wrong. You said all this. And he starts telling me what he did. And he literally sat back and just stopped doing the work. And the energy that was swelling and doing well and just needed him to anchor in and show the universe, yes, I'm ready, just fell down. And when he started to lose everything, and that happens, okay, he started losing everything, he wanted to blame other people. So I wanted to give that quick refresher here in the beginning because oftentimes we get stuck in this idea that, heck, even readings have to be done at a certain time. With angelic messaging, I always say time is not linear for them. So it comes out when it needs to come out. Now, I know our brains don't work like that, so I'm trying to rework my schedule on this end. It's been very busy in a good way, but working on a lot of different things. So I'm trying to rework my schedule so that I can be popping up a video and say, it's the week of da-da-da-da-da, a daily. Let's go back to the daily. I do that all the time, right? And then I get busy and then I can't get the dailies up. But yeah, I'm going to keep always trying, all right? I want it dated this day. And I've actually had people come and complain that I hadn't put dates. First of all, if that's so important to you, you can always look at when it was posted. Like you can do that. It's right there. I just didn't put it in the title, and they didn't like that. That would be people being very stuck in the third dimensional ego consciousness and saying, I want to know on this day, at this time, what was happening. So I get the value in that, especially if you are into astrology and things like that. Timing is very important. But remember, not everything translates into an angelic message. So what can you do? You can relax. So if you're driving, this is not the time to listen to this. Maybe do it later on when you're in a safe space and you can let your guard down. Okay? Relax, take deep breaths, and just give yourself permission to let go of everything for just a moment. It'll all be waiting for you. Take a moment and just receive. Just receive the message. Everything that I put out there is with the intention of nothing but God's purest love and light. No harm to anyone. No misguiding. Okay, so it's only for the purest frequency to come to you and that you shall always be protected. So with that, allowing yourself to relax, I bet a lot of us could use that, right? And experience the message. The brain is going to try to wrap it around and try to make it logical. It's one of the things that's a little bit, I think, tricky for some people when they get personal readings. I always kind of joke. I say, don't be out here going, no, not me, right? And resisting the message when it is you. Yes, it is. But your brain is trying to keep it surface level and match up the details of your day-to-day life to the message, when the whole message is stop doing that, stop being so narrowly focused, and look out here. Here's all the other potential that you're not tapped into. That's what an angelic message does. It also opens you up to having angelic experiences and helps you to carry this message on. So even after you watch the video, I'll keep content flowing for you as long as people want it. But you can later then do your meditation, invite an angel and archangel in, get to know your guardian angels, all of that. Now, again, I do personal readings. Let me think before I say this. When I post this, I believe this coming week, I can get some live sessions in. That doesn't happen every week. You see, I go silent about that. It's because I'm busy. And I just did that with attitude. I was like, because I'm busy, okay? No. There's just a lot going on. The following week is going to be tough. I don't have any spots open, I don't think, unless I have someone who has to reschedule, which happens. I understand if you something comes up or, you got stuck at work or something like that. No worries. We can always shift it around, okay, if need be. But if you want a live session with me, we do that via Zoom. Email me at angelsouls444@gmail.com. What I currently charge is $130 per 30 minutes. If that seems very pricey to you, okay. But I've seen plenty of others who are charging $700-800 an hour. Bear that in mind. Yes. We do pack. Now, it depends on the client. We can pack in quite a bit in that half hour if you're not doing all the talking. I'm not trying to sound mean. I'm not trying to sound mean. But if talking is what you want and you need that, no problem. Just let me know that in the beginning of the reading. I will hold space for you. You're still getting angelic coaching. You're doing energy work when you work with the angels just by their very presence. There are things that are healing within you. You still get all that benefit, but we can have it where you talk. I will end it at the 30 minutes though, okay? Because I will have other clients I got to get to. Or if you want to make the most of those 30 minutes, come in at the top of the reading, let me know what you want us to focus on, and then let me do it. Yes? Here's where people don't get the most out of their 30 minutes, where they come in, they say the first thing, and then I think that's all that they want to focus on. So I start focusing the whole reading on that. And then we get down to the last 5 minutes and they're like, oh, I had like 3 other questions for you. We're out of time. we're 5 minutes away from being out of time. So no. Okay. So I'm just trying to make it so that, again, please don't overextend yourself. If you can't get a reading right now, I have lots of content up. I still have my whole library. They're kind of old now, but I think still valuable. My whole library of courses, video courses over at Gumroad, and that's gumroad.com/angelsouls. So you can get over there and check that out. And I had, for the longest time, I was doing some extra readings over there as well. So you can always do that route if you want. If you want a standard reading, which is you fill out a form, I do the reading, I deliver it via email, so there's no time commitment on your part. That's easy. You just go over to my website, angelsouls444.com, sign up. You'll see the little form, and you submit it. Right now, the current wait time is 25 days. You may not get your reading until 11:59 on day 25. I try to avoid that at all costs, but here's the reality of it. I'm on my own soul's path. And I've been hit, not with terrible things, not with great things, but not terrible. I can't complain. But man, I look at things, I'm like, okay, that's a lesson. Okay. Okay, there's another lesson. And there are things that, are being thrown my way. There's a lot of work I'm doing, just things, just life. Soul contract stuff coming up. So, so I try to get to that as best I can. The idea here is I try to get it to you ahead of the due date. I am coming out of my very busy time with the 1010 energy portal. We're still in that. We're leading up to the 1111 portal. So keep that in mind. You're sort of building up to the moment that you're going to start manifesting. Yes. So you need to be careful with this. When we hit up on 11, and it happens to me too. Shoot, there are things where I'm like, my brain is like ruminating on things. Past hurts, pains, traumas, and then I have to go, okay, you know what? Snap out of it. Like, not in a like flippant kind of way, like don't work on your stuff. I mean, always work on your stuff. But for me, I can get drawn into it and get distracted by it. So those are things to look out for as you're coming out of 1010 and going into that 1111 frequency. You have to be careful with what you're aligning with. Yes. So again, how other people out there on social media has put it in a beautiful way, or have put it in a beautiful way, calm certainty. It's not about an ego thing of, I will make this happen. It's, this is what I want. I'm going to connect it into my heart. It's going to go through my entire being, and you click in. That's how I want to put it. You click in. That's how I've known when things were going to happen in life. So I could talk more on that. Let's get some cards here. Let's see what energy is coming up. What you need to be aware of. Oh man, just the exhaustion, pure exhaustion. I bet a lot of you out there are kind of even laying low with like holidays, unless you're like really feeling like you want, like that's going to help you heal in some way. But kind of laying low. The other thing too here is I want to be careful on how I say this. So let's talk about the topic of introverts versus extroverts. We're not enemies. Okay, we're not enemies, but we are in a world that honors extroverts much more than introverts. Um, Now, I need my extroverts in my life, or I wouldn't get off my butt and do it. That's not true. I'm very ambitious, but I wouldn't go out and socialize very much if I didn't have my extroverted people around me. But where we clash would be I'm also very sensitive, whereas they're bopping along on the surface. And so in my group of friends, I think I'm like the only single one or one of the only single ones. There's another one, but she doesn't live close here. You're an afterthought. If you're single and you don't have kids, you are an afterthought. And people forget, like, oh, we were supposed to book a room, a house big enough for all of us. Oh, we forgot Michelle. That has happened. That has happened. And then I was kind of on my own, So there's something here, though, about that introverted deep wisdom energy where it had usually been suppressed. And in the example, or like in the example I was just giving, being kind of an afterthought, now you're having your chance to shine in one way or another. Extroverts are not, again, we're not against each other, but you know the type of extrovert I'm talking about, right? They're not going to like that because usually they're out there because they get charged up by other people. Okay. And it can very much be a part of their soul's contract to be interacting with other people in that way. And then there are the types of extroverts who are very narcissistic. Introverts can be narcissistic too, but they're a little more energy vampire-ish. Okay. Yeah. So there's some sort of reckoning around that. I kind of wonder, just my human brain working, I wonder if that's not going to express itself in like, now everyone's coming to you because things are falling apart out in the world. And you seem to be the only calm one there. You're not getting stirred up. You're not getting, pardon me, pulled into all the drama. And they want to know what your secret is, kind of thing. What is that calm, magnetic presence that you have, sort of thing? So leave in the comments down below. Is something around that happening for you? Because it's coming up. We'll get more. I haven't even pulled any cards yet. Let's get to it. 3 of Gabriel. Okay, so let me read it because you won't be able to see it, I don't think, from there. So it says, prosperity arising from wise planning. Time to take the next step. Optimistic plans that turn out as expected. So this can be travel. I'm having some opportunities to travel perhaps in the next year or 2 years. So I will make sure I'm vlogging all of that for you if you want to see it, and you get to see me traveling for good or for bad. Okay. I can't say that I'm the smoothest traveler. I don't know. Maybe it'll be more comedy than anything. Who knows? But this can be travel. And I think that's because usually in this card, there's a ship in the background and people always love to say your ship is coming in. But in this particular deck with this particular artwork, and again, I don't know. I can try to get that to focus a little bit. There we go. That woman right there. She's dressed up. She's dressed up, but also in her dressed up travel, right? So she's excited to be going where she's going. She's got her trunks. She's like, this isn't a short trip. This is a journey. She's going on a journey. So this feels like there's a bit of an energy that has already kind of clicked to the next notch. Okay, like something just kind of went like like this, and it's aligning you differently. Yes. So now, if say, let's say you have jobs, right? We spend most of our lives working. So you go into a job and you just have frequencies, let's say, going through people and they act a certain way and they're controlling, or they're always trying to throw you under the bus and making you look bad, or they're just always trying to start trouble, kind of thing. The 3 of Gabriel feels like whatever your mundane day-to-day stuff would entail. Hold on one second here. Sorry. I got a little technical difficulty. There we go. Whatever your day-to-day would entail, this is kicking you out of that routine. It's maybe not the strictest reading of this card, but I'm saying what I'm now channeling in is that the world is opening up. You're starting to remember yourself. You're starting to remember what you're made of. So if you have gotten into a rut, let's put it very simplistically, if you've gotten into a rut or you took a job because the job market has been really tricky, especially since all these AI tools and everything, they don't actually get good resumes in front of the right people because it's messy and it's clunky and it's not perfected yet. You may have taken something and it's destroyed you. For some of you, it has destroyed you. It has made you lose your self-esteem. It's put you further into survival mode, just trying to protect your energy every day. Okay. This 3 of Gabriel, especially Gabriel's that sacral chakra saying, open that up, let those feelings go because there's something better waiting and you're going to see it. You're going to see it. Okay. All right. Next card out, decision. You have to commit to it. If you're like me, here's one of the many ways that I'm not doing life right out here. Okay, I admit it. Anybody who tells you they are doing life right is suspicious. But I always had a hard time committing to things, committing to relationships, committing even to a line of work. I get bored very easily. Well, with relationships, if I had like the right partner, I'd hang on to them and love them forever. Like I'd be so grateful for them after all the bad experiences, right? But this, I guess I always had the grass is greener syndrome, right? I don't want to commit too much to one thing because if I commit to that, what else am I missing? You feel me? So the decision card comes in and says, okay, maybe if you've lived like that for a while, it's time to become a master at something. And we have the number 15 on here. So 15 might be personally significant for you. We have that energy of the one, the singular person, the individual, manifesting, watching your thoughts, watching how you're aligning. If you have an 11, that could be a mirror energy. That's why somebody told me when I first started my Angel Souls channel, and I wish I could remember his name, God bless him wherever he is. He shared with me that if you're born in the 11th month, that one and that one, that's a mirror energy. So everywhere you go, it's like you're holding a mirror up to people. And if they don't like what they see, they're going to lash out at you. And yet that's part of like a soul contract for you, is that you're there to show people, reflect back to them, maybe what they're not seeing for themselves, whether that's, don't you see how talented and wonderful and beautiful you are? Don't you see how amazing you are? Or do you not realize how hurtful you are? Do you not see that? Well, I'm not going to tolerate it. I'm walking away, right? So just keep that in mind. The 5 is that click. That click. So we often see this as like big booming change. Doesn't have to be. That could be the flip that makes you go, I'm tired of this treatment. I'm tired of being spoken down to. I'm tired of people around me just causing problems just to get me stirred up so that they can siphon off. There are people who do that. And if you're sitting there going, who does that? You're part of the problem. You're an enabler. Okay. Now we would add the 5 and the 1. We would make that a 6. That is the material realm. That is density consciousness. So there's something here. It's like, if you don't like how things are going, you want your ship to come in. You want more prosperity and abundance. You need to broaden your horizons. Okay. You need to, and commit to it. So this Archangel Jophael. Jophael is thought to resonate with the crown chakra and be all about beauty, wisdom. Think, the most beautiful, it's a very feminine energy. Angels and archangels don't have gender, but it is the feminine aspect. It's almost nurturing, but also very pragmatic, very practical, and very just heightened, expansive awareness. So it says, release yourself from that which holds you back. I need to detox because you've been through it. We've all been in survival mode for many years now. Remember, this wasn't just a few months. This went on for years. There was a lot that we've all had to survive. Unnecessary worry based on a lack of self-confidence. Now, what I like to always point out in this card, let's see if I can get it focused there. You see that bird? The door is open, but he's still sitting in the cage. The rest of them are flying out. Now, this could be seen as he's waiting his turn to fly on out. Or he may say, nope, I don't want change. Change is uncomfortable. I'm not doing that. But More than anything, this is saying don't get yourself stuck. Don't think that you have limited opportunities, because that is not true. Another 5. Okay, we paying attention here. Divine guidance, Archangel Sandalphon. I heard somebody say the other day that they felt like their prayers weren't reaching up to heaven. Work with Archangel Sandalphon if you get into that space. Sandalphon's known for helping you balance, to help you balance your spiritual self with your physical self, and for taking your prayers up to heaven. Okay? And he's the Archangel of Music and Sound Healing, the brother of Archangel Metatron. All right, the search for meaning in life. Consider an alternative approach. Surround yourself with wise teachers or friends. So there's something very divine going on here. This may be you walking away from a group of people. If you are somebody, like I was giving the example of an introvert. If you are very introverted, and your crowd is very extroverted, and they kind of, they're more focused on, being popular, experiencing the next thing, and just keeping it light and fluffy. And you're over here saying, I'm introspective. I'm seeing things that I don't like. I don't like feeling like I'm being led around in a pack. I'm an individual. I don't want to have to go out all the time to prove that I like you. You know what I'm saying? Or here's another example. If someone, I always come back to this example, the more the merrier. To an introvert, that can be a nightmare. I personally don't like it at all. As a matter of fact, I get pretty offended when, let's say it's my birthday and we're getting together and celebrating. I'm more comfortable with a core group of friends who I know who love me and support me. I want to have conversations and connections with them. But if there's an extrovert in the group who says, "Oh, I invited all of my friends," the more the merrier. First of all, I think that's very selfish. It's a little narcissistic. Like, it's not about you. It's not, and you're making it more about your comfort level rather than mine. Because extroverts, I've seen, aren't usually comfortable with deep. I'm generalizing. Please understand. I'm not saying if you're extroverted, you can't have a deep conversation. Of course you can. But I'm saying, you can't talk about anything real at, say, a birthday dinner. Not that you have to have a heavy topic, but just having a bunch of people just wanting to keep it small talk drives me batty. And it's supposed to be my birthday. So, why are a bunch of people here that I don't know when you know darn well that makes me uncomfortable? You see what I'm saying? It's that sort of thing. So you might be breaking free of that and maybe finding a whole other group of people to surround yourself with. Yeah. Knight of Michael. This has been troubling you for a while. There's this impending change, but you haven't been able to quite put your finger on it. So you may have been feeling like things are a little out of control. When is it going to get better? It says your worry is unnecessary. Focus your thoughts on the outcome you desire. Release. There's the second card that says release feelings of regret, guilt, or worry to your angels. Now they're saying it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. The tough times, man, you have really earned on a soul level. I said on a soul level, a Medal of Honor for taking on 3 lifetimes in one, or for having to struggle for so very long, and maybe being around difficult people don't really care about you, running over you, thinking. I know somebody who they have to be the one talking all the time, and they don't let anybody else talk, and they think only and they're not talking about anything interesting. That's technically an opinion, but darn it, it's so close to fact. I don't know too many people who are enthralled by what this person's saying, but they always have to have the attention. Now, if you try to do that to them, if you turn the tables and you try to talk to them about something you're going through, they immediately disregard you and, start doing something over here and not listening. So that's the kind of thing we're waking up to, these patterns, this thing that society says, oh, just let it go. Just let it go. Just let it go. Never, ever, ever lean in. Never listen to someone, whether it's in a comment section or just in your life. Never listen to them when they say, just ignore it. Matter of fact, don't talk to that person anymore. Maybe don't. That is such a toxic, indoctrinated response don't engage. That kind of stuff is a very convenient tool for energy vampires and for the darkness. Because if you just keep taking it, they don't have to be held accountable. You have a right to your feelings. And somebody, if you start speaking up for yourself and they call it griping and complaining, that's another silencing technique. And it's based in very evil doings. So don't let people silence you. Okay. Truth and integrity. That's so funny. I was just saying, don't let people silence you. And here it is. When you're in your truth and you're in your integrity and you're setting a boundary and you're saying, no, this is unacceptable. And somebody else says, oh, you're just complaining. You're just griping. You're just, get over it. The tables are turning. Now, for some of you, I see you kind of going, you know what? I can't be in my truth and integrity in this space, in this relationship, in this friendship, in this job, in this way of life, in this town, in this house, whatever it is. And you're saying, I'm going to make a decision to change things. I am going to, if I'm not appreciated where I'm at, I'm going to shut that down and I'm going to go find something new. So I'm going to leave you with that. Remember, if you want a personal reading, angelsouls444.com for the standard readings, the live sessions. Email me at angelsouls444@gmail.com. I don't think I told you the standard reading price previously. Those are $95 per 30 minutes. So the standard one that gets delivered to you via email, $95 per 30 minutes. You can get more than 30 minutes if you want. The live sessions are $130 per 30 minutes. And if you just do a little planning ahead to give me your questions, we can pack a lot into that half hour. As a matter of fact, I think people get a little exhausted afterwards, which, again, you shouldn't be getting exhausted after an angelic reading. Okay. Usually we get exhausted when we're resisting and we're trying to make up excuses instead of taking accountability for how we've led our lives, where we're headed, so on and so forth. Okay. So we're going to leave it there. I'm sending you all so much love and take care.